Telling story with design is what I really love about graphic design. Tunji from Caesar Graphics, welcome to my channel. I have this design I received during the week from a designer. I'm going to share what is working and what is not working in the design. And I'm going to use this to teach you guys my process on how I tell story with graphic design. Without any further ado, let's start. So this is the design I'm going to be reviewing in this tutorial, and I want to specially thank the designer that sent this design to me and my team to review. Okay, this is a beautiful project, and I like the contrast in the project, which is the making the title visible. I mean, like making the title and the background balance. I'm saying this here because of the value that we have on the title, and also the black uh solid color that we have on the background. The contrast between the title and the background here is so beautiful. All right, and I also like the illustration because the illustration really go well with the title. When we're talking about redemption, the cross is also one of the symbol that Christians use to illustrate redemption. All right, so this is the illustration, the contrast between the background and the title here is beautiful. And another thing I love so much here is the proximity in the project here, which is the grouping of the element. I like the fact that we have the title with the writer here together, and also this information here, which is the dates and time here. I like the way the designer grouped them. So the proximity here is so beautiful, and I like the simplicity in the project, which is also part of what you should always put in place whenever you are putting together your elements. Make your project so simple enough for your viewers to see the contents that you have in your project. All right, and we now have the other thing I love so much here is the hierarchy part of the project. Now, I'm saying all these things here for you guys to know what you should always check out for whenever you're putting together your elements. All right. Contrast is the first thing you need to always put in place. In fact, contrast is the project. All right. Contrast is very important. Then the other thing is the grouping of the element. And then the third is the hierarchy. All right. The hierarchy in the project here. There are still some other principles of design that you need to also make sure you make available in your project. Okay. But the only principle of design that I noticed in this project is what I'm calling to you guys attention here. And I also love the part of the hierarchy here, which is the order of controlling the eye of the viewers here. Now, when I saw this project, the first thing that drew my attention is this. All right. Now, and the reason why this is the first thing that drew my attention is because pictures, images, they draw attention fast. They're the first thing that draws people's attention. And the way our system, our brain is programmed is whenever we see something new, most especially images, we always try to look for something that explain what that image is. So, and that will take us to the second level of hierarchy here, which is the title. So the title is the next level because of the way the designer made this bold here. Because if you look at the project here, you'll notice that aside from this title here, we don't have any other bold information in the project anymore. And this made this the next level of hierarchy in the project. And then we now get to this part of the project. Then we now get to the fourth. All right, this is the third. Then we now get to the logo of the ministry. So the simplicity here is beautiful. The hierarchy excellent. The proximity here is also beautiful, and the part of the using illustration to illustrate what the project is talking about here is also beautiful. Now, the two things I noticed here that did not really work in the project here is the part of making the project dynamic and also unity. All right. Making the project dynamic is what we use to make the project look interesting to the viewers. Now, the part of the hierarchy, the contrast, the proximity that I mentioned, they are also important. In fact, these are the principles of design that help make the viewers find it easy to go through the information in the project. All right. Now, there's also the part of making the project look dynamic. The making the project look dynamic is where we surprise the viewers. This is where we do the unexpected. All right. So you need to also learn the part of adding this to your project, because every project must look interesting. The idea behind working on every design project is to entertain the viewers. If you don't always entertain the viewers, if you put together the elements the way people are used to seeing things, trust me, people won't really spend time looking at your project. Part of what I've used to win the heart of my clients is the part of entertaining them, the part of doing the unexpected. All right. And I notice that is missing here. And then the other part, which is the unity part here, that I said did not really balance balance here, is the part of the photo manipulation. And I'm saying this here because now, guys, I would advise you to try to at least have this, let's say 50% knowledge of photo manipulation if you really want to tell story with design. It's very important. Now, the part of the unity not working here is this light that we have here. All right. If there's a light behind this, all right, the color of the light should be the same as the light we have here. That's the first thing I notice here. And there should be something like a shadow here, because the opposite of light is dark. So when we have a light effect behind this, like this, I expect to see at least make this bottom part here, all right, darker, because this light here is what's going to make this bottom part of the title darker. When you're putting together the elements, it's more or less like the way you watch movies, where you see the way they create scenes in movie, or let me say the way things appear to you in real life. So when you do anything light effect in your project, the opposite side of any object that is uh in front of that light should have a dark area, where you make the people know that, okay, the effect of the light is what made this side of the side where we have that dark area in, or on the elements. All right. Then you will now have that light effect, like the way you have it here now. You now have the light effect, but the color of the light should not be this color here. It should be this color, not this. Sorry, I made a mistake. It should be this color here, because the glow light is what the color of the glow light is what we're supposed to see on any element that is around that that light effect. All right. So here we have this orange color on the glow. So I expect to see that color, that orange color here on the title. And I don't expect to see the light here. The light is not supposed to be here. All right. We can have the light here. Not supposed to have the light here. We can have the light here like we did. Yeah. Light can come here. We can have the light here. All right. And we're not supposed to have the light here. Not supposed to have the light here. Not supposed to have the light here. All right. We're not supposed to have the light here. Okay. So how I was able to get this is because I watch more of tutorials, like drawing tutorials, most especially the part of applying colors to drawings. All right. That's where I got this knowledge from. And I believe if you guys can start watching tutorials like me, I'm sure you guys are going to understand this part of playing with light in your project. Okay, so those are the two things I noticed that the designer did not do well in the project, and I'm going to show you guys my version. And before I get to my version, I want to quickly share this very important information with you. We get calls a lot from folks who are looking forward to go into design but can't afford to pay for design school. Because of this, we decided to start a foundation where we can be a blessing to these people. We're looking at getting some tools and space in order for us to meet our goals. And this is where we need you to support us with your donation. If you have any amount you think you can support us with, kindly make use of the account details on the screen. Every amount that comes from you will be highly appreciated. All right, so let's continue the tutorial. Here is the illustration from the designer, and I still use the same title that the designer used. The reason is because that title is perfect for this type of project. You know, the character is narrow. I'm talking of the style, not the title now. That character that the designer used is best for, you know, this type of project because the title is long and we need to be able to make the title visible because of the sake of making the readers find it easy to read. So in order to make the title bigger, it's best to use a narrow character in order to make the title visible. So what I did here is, I mentioned unity. Unity is very, very important whenever you're putting together your element. So what I did here, it was to make the cross serve as the letter T on the title, and I created a smoke effect which you guys are still going to see now. And but before I did that, I had to draw the parts where I want the smoke effect to go. All right, and I started adding this image that I downloaded from Google to to achieve the smoke effect. So the keyword I use to search for this image is fog. All right. I went to Google image and I typed fog, and Google gave me, this result. So I noticed I have too much of lights effects, bright part on the image. So I decided to sample gray color from the image and use it to cover the parts where I have those bright area, because contrast is very important. I'm trying as much as possible not to do anything that will make that cross illustration hidden. So I decided to use value that is different from the value from the cross, and I changed the color of the fog image to the color, the glow color that we have on the cross. I was explaining to you guys that the color of the glow is what you're supposed to apply to every other element in the project. And that's why if you look at the illustration from the designer, you notice that the bottom part of the cross, the color on the bottom part of the cross is that orange color that we have on the glow around the cross. And that's the same thing I applied to the fog image that I used in the project. And the idea behind making all this move, the the idea behind making all this move is to tell a story, which is one of the most important thing you need to always consider whenever you're putting together your element. And then the other thing is the part of the unity. All right, the part of the unity, the first telling story, second is the unity, then number three is the making the project, the putting together of the element in the project a balance. All right. So yeah, so that's the reason why I'm making all this move you're looking at here. So I have this fog brush among my brush preset. So I use that to make the smoke effect around, the the image look like a real smoke image. And I decided I hold down control here and click on the thumbnail of the character layer to create a marquee selection of the character. I'm talking of the font that I use, and I use the same smoke brush to apply the smoke to the layer I created. There's a layer I created for the smoke, and I applied the smoke effect around the cutout part of the cutout parts in the project to make that smoke effect around the title look like? Yes, there's actually this character behind the cross, that the smoke from the cross or from the fire or light effect behind the title is making us see the title, and also to make the unity in the project more balanced, because if I don't do this, um the unity in the project is not going to be it's not going to look nice. All right, it's not going to really look interesting to the eye. So when you're putting together elements in your project, consider making them look like they belong together. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So there should be touch of that smoke effect around the title in order to make it look like, yes, there's actually this I belong to the illustration. I belong to the illustration, excuse me, in the project. And I'm sure you guys are having fun looking at the process, because yeah, actually this took me time, right? Yeah, this really took me time when I was working on it. So I added a curve effect to a curve filter to the uh the smoke effect in order to really give room for contrast, all right, to really make the bright part of the smoke more stronger, and the part where we have less bright area on the smoke to to be less bright. And that's the idea behind the curve. And there's something I did here which I also want you guys to know. You'll notice that the part where we have the letter R, E, and D, you'll notice that part is not bright like the uh, other parts where we have the cross. The idea behind that is to make the contrast, which is the making the focus of the viewers go to the cross, and also to make the unity in the project balance, to make the viewers know that what actually uh, made us have all these light effects, all this smoke effect that we have in the project is actually the cross. So that's the idea behind not making the smoke effect and the light effect around the letter R and E more stronger. Because if I make the whole letter, I mean all the letters have the light effect, the project is not going to, the contrast in the project is not going to be stronger like the way you're looking at it here now. All right. So that's the idea behind, doing that. And there's another thing I did here. I added another smoke effect, a smoke image, excuse me, that I also downloaded from, Google. And I changed the color like I did with the very first smoke image to really give, unity, to the project. And then when I was putting together this project, the other thing I try as much as possible to do is, I know I'm going to be making the size of every other information in the project smaller. All right. And the reason why I decided to do this is because, I really want to make the eye of my viewers rest. All right. So I decided to give enough room for the area where I'm going to be adding the other information to the project. Talking of the rider, the dates, and the venue. So I decided to create that empty area so as to make those information visible. Yeah, at first I moved the rider close to the title, and I found out that the moving it too close to the title is going to make it difficult for the people to see. Why? Because we already have this bright value on the illustration part, and I'm talking of the part where we have the cross. So placing a bright element close to it is going to really affect the visibility of that small information that I placed there. So I decided to change the location of the rider and the venue in order to really make the contrast more stronger. All right, in order not to make the project make the information in the project difficult for the viewers to read. And like I always do whenever I'm working on design projects, I'm always trying my best to consider helping my viewers see the information in the project. So when I'm working on design projects, I always um take my time to check, okay, is this visible? Can the viewers find it easy to see the way I place this information? And if I notice it's not working, then the next thing I'm going to do is to, change the location. So I added a glow color, and I clip a glow color inside the rider because I really want to make it look like the effect from the smoke that is coming from the cross is also affecting the rider. And that's the idea behind that glow effect, that I added to, the rider and also to the time. Now, the reason why I did not add the glow effect to the venue is because that information is too small and is close, all right, to the, the flame coming from the, um, the illustration. So adding the glow effect to it is going to affect the visibility of that information. All right. So thank you. All right. I'm sure you learned from this tutorial, and I'm sure you enjoyed my process on how I achieved the redesign version. If you want your design to feature in my upcoming training, kindly make use of the Telegram link in the description section of this video and send your design to any of the admin in the group aside from Caesar Graphics. Okay, if you have anything you want to share with me, drop it in the comment section of this video. And if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. If you love the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you know anyone who wants to learn graphic design, kindly share this video with them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.